It's Friday, about 6 o'clock I'd say. I'm at the trailhead. The plan is to hike in tonight, try to get to my first campsite by dark, so I'll have about 2 hours. And then pack up tomorrow morning and hike the rest of the way, which will probably be about another 4 miles. I'm technically in here for the opener of Archery deer, but that doesn't start until Sunday on the 1st. So we'll get hiked in a little ways tonight, finish out tomorrow morning, then the rest of tomorrow we'll be setting up camp, getting water, doing all that sort of stuff, and then scouting, of course, and then looking for a bear, possibly. And then Sunday, all day Sunday, and then the morning of Monday, I'll be hunting bear or deer, and then I'll hike out Monday afternoon. Going in the same place where we'll be elk hunting also. So after I get back from this trip, 4 days later, turn around and Ralph and I come back in for a week that time. And so I'll be scouting for elk as well, and I've got some trail cameras up in there, so I'll be able to check those. So that's what's going on. Got really technically 2 days spread across 3 days. 2 days of actual hunt time spread across 3 days. So I've got a heavy pack going in. Fortunately, I'll be able to leave some stuff because we're coming back in 4 days, and then won't be as heavy coming out unless I've got an animal. So here we go. This is by far the best campsite I have ever had. Easy to set up the tent, nice and level. Stakes went in, barely even needed a rock to push them in. And look at this. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. There were people that were camped, a ton of people, like, I don't know, it must have been 4 or 5 families. There were just kids everywhere where I was initially going to camp. So I knew there were a few spots further down the trail. So I got here earlier than I anticipated. So I figured might as well just go check it out. And got lucky, got this place. So it was only a few minutes left before it gets dark. So I wanted to get some video of this. It's probably going to be dark when I get up in the morning and head out, if I get my butt out of bed. So I want to get it now. But the cool thing is I've heard at least one bugle for sure. And then I believe, well, there's the third one. I don't know if the camera picked that up. And I'm pretty sure that's a real elk. So I might do some calling here just to see if I can get them to respond. But that is really cool if it's an actual elk. All right, I still got some stuff to do before it gets dark, but man, I had to get a shot of this. This is just incredible. Good start to the trip. Okay, I've definitely heard multiple bugles. They're 100% actual elk. And then I had one just bark right over here. I mean, had to be within 100 yards. So this is really cool. I haven't tried calling yet. I might do that in just a minute here. Be great if I could pick one up, but the one that's bugling is cross. It's pretty distant, but you can hear it. Sound is really carrying. So cool. Was not expecting this. It's August 31st. No, it's August 30th. So I've never heard them bugle this early before. Okay, I gotta finish getting camp set up. Okay, this is crazy. I've only cow called a couple times, and I just had I'm assuming a bull come into my camp. I mean, I don't know how close it was, but I mean, it got really close. I didn't know it was even there. It came in silent, and then all of a sudden, boom, busted. I was like just getting camp set up. and it busted, sounded like a freight train going through the trees. And it had to be 50 yards or even closer. I had no idea it was there. I only called a couple times. But in the meantime, this one across the water here, I think he's getting closer. Or there's another one. He's continued to bugle, and the last bugle was definitely closer. So I'm going to cow call here and see if I can get him to respond. Okay, there was one. I don't know if the camera picked it up, but that was further away. That was not the other one I heard. There's another one. That one's to my left. Man. I honestly don't know if I want this because it's going to get me too pumped up. Okay, multiple bulls have bugled while I've been trying to get the camera set up on the tripod so I don't have to be holding it. And the one is literally right on the other side of this little lake. I'm sure of it. So let me try again. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's two. Don't know if the camera's picking it up. This is awesome. There's one. There's two. There was a third one. Oh my gosh. Got my bugle. I don't know if I really need it. I don't know if they're going to get any closer, but this is what an unbelievable evening. There's barely a speck of wind. It's probably 60 degrees, just beautiful. I'm in the backcountry, and I've got elk bugling all around me. I'm not sure if it gets any better than this. Unbelievable. Okay, still listening. There's still bulls bugling. There were two that were going back and forth pretty loud. But I think all those campers and kids and whatnot that I walked past, I think they've been hearing them, so now they're up and around, and I don't know, I can hear voices and whatnot. So the one to my right has stopped because he wasn't that far away from where they were at. So I'm sure they spooked him. But there's one up on the horizon up there that, man, he has got a wicked bugle. And then he chuckles. There he is. is pretty cool when he bugles. I mean, if there was a bugle where you'd think that is a big old bull, that's the bugle. I just don't know if I can get it. So I'm going to let it run for a little bit longer, and maybe he'll go one more time. A couple times it sounds like he's really close. I'm sure he must be facing this way. He is definitely moving, but I don't think he's coming here. I think he's just working that ridge, looking for some ladies. I'll see if I can get him to go one more time. There he is. He usually chuckles after every bugle. He didn't that time. That was him. But I was waiting for the chuckle again. Alright. Well, I'm probably going to lay in my tent and listen to him. Pretty cool. Pretty cool night. Looking forward to tomorrow, too. Need to get some good sleep. I still got a long ways to go. Probably over 4 miles yet, so I need to get to bed. Okay, I'm in my tent. And that bull that I was talking about that had such a cool bugle, he is just going nuts. I mean, right after I shut the camera off, he went 3 times, of course. But this is like 45 minutes later now or something close to that, maybe an hour. And he is going nuts. So, of course, now that I turn the camera back on, we'll see. But he's getting closer too. Like, he has been working this way. He's definitely closer. So I'm just going to let it run, and we'll see if we can capture some of this. But I don't think I could go to sleep right now if I wanted. There he is. I hope the camera got that. That sounded like a moo cow, and there are no moo cows up here. That's awesome. He's close. Okay. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. The bulls are still going crazy. And I've got a bull right now with the weirdest bugle. And he's within 100 yards of me. So we'll see if I can get him to bugle. Okay, this guy with the crazy bugle is still right next to me. And he's been that was him. I hope the camera got that. There's another one. Okay, I was getting ready to say I'm gonna bugle because he's been responding to everybody's bugles. So I'm gonna try a bugle and see what happens. I just kicked up a cow, probably a couple 100 yards back. I didn't know she was there until she busted. She was probably at 40 yards. I didn't have the camera out, so I couldn't get her, but I'm still hearing bugles. They're obviously, that's fresh, so they're obviously moving through here. That's the first live animal that I've seen since we've been in here scouting. This is my third trip, and that's the first one we've seen. Obviously I knew they're here, but it's nice to get eyes on something. There's the first fresh rub that I've seen. It's definitely this year. And as I'm standing looking at that, just looking around, like there's quite a few berries left on these bushes. I mean, I don't know, I would consider a lot actually. Seems like a great place to run into a bear. It's probably about 3:45. I made it to camp somewhere around, I think, 11, somewhere around 11. Got it set up, got everything ready to go, made a little trip, got water, so hopefully I'm good on that for the rest of the trip, and then ate lunch, and honestly took a little nap. It's hot. It's gotta be mid-80s, I would guess. Just unfortunate weather's not really helping much at all. And again, today I can only shoot a bear, but obviously looking for elk sign, deer sign to try to help me tomorrow when I can actually shoot a deer, and help us a week from now when we come back for archery. So it's about 3:45 right now. Took a little hike down this long ridge. I've actually got a trail camera 500 yards, about 500 yards below me. I haven't decided if I'm going to go down there and check that yet. I'm going to kind of see how this afternoon and evening plays out. At some point before I leave, I'm going to go check it. Put a new SD card in my camera above me. That got filled up in like a day, and so just a lot of little clips of cows, quite a few cows. I mean, as many as 12 at one time. So that's good, but there's not a lot of fresh sign there, and the card got filled up like weeks ago, so I really don't know what's been happening since. So that card's ready, that camera's ready to go. I did check I have a camera over really close to our camp, but there was a good trail there. And I don't know, I had 10 or 15 pictures. Like every couple of days, some elk would go through, all cows and calves, no bulls, and then a couple deer. Saw, I think, just a doe with 2 fawns actually went through. So not a lot of activity, but something every couple of days. So I got 2 trail cameras left, the one below me and then one quite a ways off to my right. That one will be fairly easy to get to in the next day or two, so I'm not worried about that one. But this might be the time that I go down and do the one below me. I do want to explore it down there more. I don't know if today's the day that I'm going to do that, but anyway, so the plan is I'm going to sit here for a while. I was in the shade. Looks like that's kind of going away right now, so I may have to move. I'm going to sit here for a while, see if I hear anything. And as it gets a little bit cooler, closer to evening, I'll probably do some predator calling. And just see, I've got a creek down below me, which I didn't know. Onyx showed that there was water there, but I didn't know if it was year-round or not, and it is, so that's really cool. So it makes me feel even better about this area, because a lot of the other spots that we saw back in July, they're dried up. So that's where we're at. That's the update so far. See if we can hear any bulls bugling tonight like we did last night. That would be amazing, and then I'd be really pumped for next weekend. I don't know that I'll be able to make it through the week, so we'll see how it goes, but that's it for now. So I'm down where that trail camera is that I was talking about a little bit earlier. I only had a couple pictures on there of elk. I kind of had it in a random spot. I didn't even know what I'm looking at right now. I didn't even know these wallows, these little mud holes were even here. They're at the far end. I was at the opposite end. We didn't have a lot of time, so I just got the camera set up where it'd give me as much field of view as possible. But I didn't even know this was here. So this is where the activity's been. So I got a spike and something else. I don't know what it was. It was an elk, but I don't know what it was. And that's it. But there was clearly activity over here. There's beds everywhere. There's a bed there. There's a big bed right below me right here. There's another bed over there. There's several beds right up on this little hill right here and just past the logs. And you can tell the mud hole, that one has been used, not recently, but it has been used. So if I'd had the camera over here, which I do now, I moved it, but if I'd had it over here, I would have gotten a lot more. But you can see it's just this meadow here. The one thing that I'm not seeing is any fresh rubs, so that bothers me a little bit. It's really marshy out here, but there are more beds out here. There's one right there. So they've definitely been in here, been using it. But yeah, I just don't see any rubs or new ones. So I think this is the last place I'm going to go for today. Probably hang out here. It's probably like 6:15 or something right now. So it's definitely getting to the time. I think last night I started hearing them around 7. So I'm going to give it a little bit, see if something gets started on its own. And then I'll start doing some calling, and if it doesn't, I'll start doing some calling and see if I can get something started. Man, still looking for an indication that there's bulls here with these cows, but there's got to be. Okay, I'm going to get back to my spot where I'm going to sit so I don't get my scent spread all over the place. And if nothing happens here, then probably back at camp is be the next update. Otherwise, hopefully something happens this evening. I did some predator calling too, and nothing came into that. Not a huge shock on that one either, just because, again, I don't know the area very well, so really it was just pick the spot. So would have been pretty lucky if something would have been there, but okay, let me get back to my spot. Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's my only full day of hunting. I'm just leaving camp. Last night I sat down at that meadow, hiked all the way back, and never saw or heard anything. I did finally hear some bugles last night around 12:30. Only, I think, 3. There could have been more. That's all I heard. They weren't real close, but at least there's some over in this area. So this morning I'm heading over to a spot where I've got a trail camera, and I'm going to sit there for a little bit. I'm on a trail. It's really well-used trail. Mosquitoes are out in full force, as you can tell. I'm going to sit there for a while, and then after that I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and start exploring. The wind is just crazy. Like, literally, if I did it right now, it would go every direction. So I don't really know what to do, and I can't afford to just sit and wait. So I'm going to head over there and then try to get in the best spot once I get over there. But here we go. Here's the first full day, and today I can actually shoot a deer if I see one. So here we go. Okay, it's 9:15. I sat at that trail for about an hour and a half, and started working my way down the ridge. I'm actually headed down to the little meadow where the trail cam is, where I sat last night. So I've never gone past that, and I know there's some like meadows and really flat, kind of benchy stuff beyond that, and I just kind of want to go explore that. But I just stopped for a second, and I'm pretty sure I just heard a bugle below me. I just caught the tail end of it, and it didn't sound like a great bugle, so I'm not 100% sure. And if there is an elk or some elk down there, I don't want to blow them out, and the wind is going that way. So I'm going to hang out here just for a minute or two, see if I hear it again, see if I hear anything, see if the wind changes at all, and then kind of figure out where I'm going from there. But I'm pretty sure that was a bugle, so that's great to hear. It's unfortunate though, it's right where I was planning on going, and I don't want to screw them up for next week, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, I'm sitting above the meadow right now, waiting for the wind to change. It's still pulling down into there, and I don't understand why. It's like 9:45, the sun is out, things are definitely warming up. But while I was sitting here, I finally found my first fresh rub right above the meadow. Like last night, when I was walking through, that was one of the things I mentioned is I'm just not seeing any fresh rubs. But there is one here, so that's a good sign. At some point, if this wind improves, I'm going to move down through the meadow and on beyond it, and there should be some more meadows to explore a little bit further beyond. So it probably shouldn't surprise me, but it always does. I feel like, I'm in here a ways in the wilderness area, over 7 miles back. Felt like it took quite a bit of effort to get in here and then, get off trail and come find some places like this meadow, and feel like it's somewhat inaccessible, but never fails. There's always somebody that has been here before you. All right. I sat at that pond or spring earlier for like almost 4 hours, probably over 4 hours. I sat and watched and listened. About halfway through, I got up and I just did some exploring. I went all the way around it, kind of checked up on some ridges, and eventually came back, sat down for like another hour. Then I did a predator call for a little bit, sat for like another hour, and ultimately nothing. So packed up all my stuff. I mean, I wasn't being noisy, but I wasn't, I was zippering my pack and putting stuff away and all that sort of stuff. And then got up and walked around the pond, just got to the other side and busted something. I mean, that was less than 100 yards away from where I was at. So I don't know what it was. Could have been a bear, a deer, an elk. I think it was an elk just by how heavy it sounded, but I honestly don't know. It was by itself, whatever it was. I don't know how it was that close to me that whole time, and the wind was not good. It was like switching all directions, so how it was there. And I had just walked through there just an hour earlier, so I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know what it was, but I've come all the way down now to this ridge. I'm looking down on this bench below me. I've been here for an hour or so. I did a couple cow calls, and again, nothing. So I think what I'm going to do is drop all the way down to the bottom. There's a little lake at the bottom, and then I'm going to wrap around and come all the way back up. There's kind of an established trail that'll bring me back up to the top and back to camp. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I guess it's a good way to get to know the area. It could end up being a lot longer hike than what I'm anticipating and harder, but I guess there's only one way to find out. So it's prime time. It's about 5:15 right now, so the next like 2 hours are prime time. So I'm just going to go slow and look for sign and see if I can run into something. That's it for now. Okay, this is my last obstacle before I get to camp. I've never crossed this before, but if I do, my camp is like 200 yards up that hill. If I don't, I gotta go like another mile, make a loop around to where I can get across this creek, river, whatever you want to call it, and there's no way I'm doing that. So here we go. Originally I thought I was gonna go on that big one when I first saw it, but I think I'll try these two smaller ones. I'm gonna put the camera away because I don't really want to get wet, and I'll see you back at camp. Well, I made it. Didn't get wet. There's a little bit of light left. I made it back sooner than I thought I would. So I'm debating, I may go sit up on the hill right up here. Maybe just heat up my mountain house and take it up there and just sit up there. I don't know, it depends on these mosquitoes. They're so bad in the trees. So we'll see. I might just make my meal and go to bed. It's an incredible day. Just wish I would have seen a couple of the animals I busted and just seen more animals in general. But learned a lot about the area. Saw some really beautiful stuff. So it's a win either way. Probably see you in the morning. Well, as usual, forgot to do an update. So this morning, got up fairly early, hiked down to a meadow where I have a trail camera, and lots of activity on that trail camera. Really cool stuff. Just elk like almost every day, but only one legal bull. There was a 2-point in there that looked like a spike, just had splits on top, and then one legal bull. He was only there twice, and both times middle of the night. So, and there's just not fresh rubs. That's making me really nervous. But tons of other elk activity, some deer activity there. Pretty nice buck, but again, middle of the night, so I can't really make out his rack real well. But man, just looked like a very mature buck. Sat there for 2 hours. Sat on a hornet's nest, and I got stung on the back. I don't know how I didn't get stung more times than that, but other than that, nothing happened, and came back, packed up camp. It's about 10:30 now, maybe 10:45, and I am on my way out. So I've got 7 miles in front of me, and just gonna slog through it. And there's always a possibility something can happen on the way out, so it's never over till it's over. But making the trip out. Well, I made it out. See you in 4 days for archery elk. This is the year.